Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's March 5th, 2017, a Sunday, a fitting day to ask this question: Is Jesus Christ the sun in the sky, and does the Tropic of Cancer prove that Jesus Christ is actually the sun in the sky? So, real quick, just for review, the Tropic of Cancer is where the summer solstice is measured in the northern hemisphere on June 21st. On June 21st, in each respective time zone at midday noon, the sun is directly above the Tropic of Cancer. This measures the summer solstice, the longest day in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it's the Tropic of Capricorn that measures the summer solstice, which is on December 21st, the longest day of the year in the southern hemisphere. December 21st is the winter solstice in the north, which comes just before the celebration of the birthday of Jesus, the birth of the sun. Remember, after the winter solstice, the sun begins to rise in the sky a little more each day until it reaches June 21st, the longest day of the year. And then from June 21st to December 21st in the northern hemisphere, each day gets shorter. The ongoing cycle. So I was looking at the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, and the Tropic of Cancer is 23.5 degrees north. The Tropic of Capricorn is 23.5 degrees south. That means they're 47 degrees apart, the two tropics that measure the solstices. And 47 is that very special number to Freemasonry and Christianity. The Freemasons have something called Euclid's 47th problem about how to establish foundation for a structure. Foundation equals 47, framework equals 47, authority 47, Christian 47. A lot of important words have gematria 47. These tropics are 23.5 degrees from the equator, which means they're 47 total degrees apart. 47 is the reflection of 74, and Tropic of Cancer in gematria sums to 74. Real quick, I want to make a point about the Tropic of Cancer. Look at where it cuts through the world. It's in the region of the world where the Bible is set. You know, the Middle East, Africa, the biblical lands. So the Tropic of Cancer, more relevant between the two tropics in terms of the biblical story. The Tropic of Cancer in gematria sums to 74. And 74, that very special number in the Bible. Jesus 74, Cross 74, Messiah 74, Gospel 74, which is the story of Jesus. Jewish 74, Masonic 74, Occult 74, Lucifer 74. In gematria, Christianity also sums to 74. And think about the most special Christian holy day being Christmas, coming directly after the winter solstice, which is related to the Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere. In case you've never seen one of my videos before, I've been talking about the significance of these numbers for more than 3 years. And as time goes on, we put more pieces of the puzzle together. And what I have been saying from the beginning is these numbers, they cannot be arbitrary. They come from something. They're based in this world. There's a reason 47 and 74 have been chosen to express or symbolize what they do. Wouldn't it make a lot of sense that these numbers would come from this world and the relationship between this world and the sun, the thing that makes life possible in this world? God's one and only Son, which makes all things possible? if you're Christian and you're watching this and this is upsetting you, information shouldn't upset you. You know? I have the perspective of, I realize I was born into this world. I was born into a world of lies and people who want to control me and fill my head with false information. So I've always done my own thinking. I learned at a young age to think for myself, to question authority, and, make logical observations, use reason to make sense of this world. To me, this information makes a lot of sense when you start to look at this. Perhaps this is where the significance of 47 originally comes from. The tropics. For thousands of years, the people of this world have known how to sail. It was the sailors who used the oceans that made the observations about the sky and the phenomenon in it. This is where mapping came from. How long did it take humanity to figure out the size of the earth and, label coordinates appropriately? This is something that took a long time, the work of humanity, but over time, things were figured out. Mathematical observations, undeniable proofs, such as how every single year we know that we have summer and winter solstice, and it lines up perfectly over the tropics, which are 47 degrees apart. So there's something else I want to look at in regards to the gematria of Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer in reverse ordinal gematria sums to 232. And the reason that's so fascinating is because Gospel has gematria of 232. Out of the 50 states, there's only one state that sums to 74, and it also happens to be the only state that also has the Jewish gematria of 232. Oregon is the 33rd state, the only state that sums to 74, and also 232. Look at how Gospel and Oregon are both 232 in Jewish and 74 in ordinal. Oregon's the 33rd state, abbreviated OR, 15 plus 18, O's the 15th, R's the 18th, the abbreviation's 33, the 33rd state. Remember, Jesus on the cross at age 33. 33, 74, this special pairing. Think about these tropics. The Tropic of Cancer, the Tropic of Capricorn, CNC 33. All these things have been named over the years by the gang in power, and that is Freemasonry. Freemasonry's been around for thousands of years. Freemasonry prides itself on being the keepers of knowledge. Freemasonry, an organized network, sharing knowledge, working together, building understanding. And that, I imagine, is how, in the early days, so much was figured out about this world. The Freemasons have been around. So there's something going on here. There's something greater with the 232. Earlier this week, I put out a video on 10, 55, and 232. I showed how the word Satan has gematria of 10, 55, and 232. When you add the first 10 numbers together, they sum to 55. 55 is the 10th Fibonacci number. When you make the first 10 additions of the Fibonacci sequence, it sums to 232. We talked about in that video how God and Satan both sum to 55. It's duality, light and dark, good and bad, day and night. And it's coded into our own language. But I don't think it's arbitrary. The Tropic of Cancer has the 74232 coding, just like Oregon, just like Gospel. There's something greater here to understand, and that's why I'm sharing this piece. And just in case you haven't seen my work on 33 in the Bible, let's go through it again real quick. The 33rd time Noah's name is mentioned in Genesis. Genesis equals 33, the first book of the Bible. It's when God is making his promise about the flood. Noah's Ark equals 33. The 33rd time Abraham's name is used is when his child Isaac is born. Name 33, Isaac 33, also from Genesis 33. When you write out 33, it sums to 66. The Bible, most Bibles are 66 books in length. When you add the numbers 1 through 11, they sum to 66. 1 through 10 is 55. 1 through 11, 66. Jesus in English reduction sums to 11. I got to show you something from the movie THX 1138 in just a moment. But anyway, when you write out 33, it sums to 66. Amen, 33. Look at the word son, 33. God's son, 33. The sun, 33. Sunrise, 33. Sunday, 33. Jehovah, 33. Bible, 33. Good book, 33. Jesus performs 33 miracles in the Bible, and more. 33, 47, 74, the numbers that come together again and again, something I've explained since the first video. And here it all comes together in the tropics. Let me find this post real quick on THX. I want to show you this real quick. THX 1138 is the first film George Lucas ever put out before Star Wars. It released March 11th, 1971. Fitting date for a George Lucas production. George Lucas in Gematria sums to 113, March 11th, 11/3, Freemasonry, doing things by the numbers. Hollywood controlled by Freemasonry. Early in the film, the main character, who's Robert Duvall, what you find out in this film, it's supposed to be set in the 25th century. You see routinely how characters go before an image of the face of Jesus. It's a talking robotic voice. It's kind of like the confession for the citizenry in the 25th century. George Lucas didn't do this on purpose, or on accident, I mean. He did this on purpose. This movie's called THX 1138. Jesus equals 11 the small way. Cross has gematria of 38. A lot of Jesus symbolism. And look, they put the face of Jesus with an 11 right here clearly in the shot. And Jesus in English reduction is 11. It's interesting how Jesus also breaks down to 151. Jesus Christ equals 151 using the alphabetic order, which is the 36th prime number. When you sum 1 through 36, it totals 666, the number of the beast. But the Masons, all throughout history, have been putting numbers in front of the faces of the masses that they know have no idea what they're looking at. You know, how many people in the history of this film that's been out since 1971, it'll turn 46 this coming weekend, have looked at this scene and said, oh, I know why the 11's in front of the face of Jesus? Almost no one. This knowledge is only known to the occult, to the esoteric, the small group in the know. But this code, it's been used all this time, all through recorded history, in the Bible as we know it. So I'll link all these posts if you want to go back and look at them. A lot of important information here. But I'm having a strong suspicion, using logic and reasoning, that the tropics are the basis of the numbers of what we see coded into Jesus and Christianity. And real quick, just for you flat earthers, understand this. The Tropic of Cancer would make a circle on your flat earth map like this. A smaller circle than what would be the Tropic of Capricorn, which would be way out here. The Tropic of Capricorn would be this huge circle. The Tropic of Cancer would be this smaller inner circle. Now think about this. On June 21st in the Northern Hemisphere at noon in each time zone, the sun is directly above the Tropic of Cancer. The same is true on December 21st with the Tropic of Capricorn. Now ask yourself, how could that possibly be on the flat earth map? The sun would have to make a lot bigger circle, which means it would have to be moving at a faster speed. That would mean that the rate of speed that the sun moves at, the flat earth community believes it's the sun orbiting, what that would mean is the sun would have to speed itself up as it moved through the southern hemisphere. It would have to travel at a faster speed. Just think about that. Do you really think that the sun's changing its rate of speed? When you just use logic and reason, it becomes clear that the heliocentric model is true, not the geocentric model. You know? The Earth orbits the sun, not vice versa. And that is provable by the things we observe and that are documented and that are real in this world. Come on, flat earthers, use your brains. Don't delude yourself into thinking nonsense. You know, the point should be to find the truth, not delude ourselves into, what makes most sense in our simple minds. The flat earth community, a very simple-minded crowd. A crowd that says, I look out and I see a flat horizon, and I don't feel myself moving, so I know I'm stationary. These are ridiculous arguments. It's as if flat earthers have never been in a plane. It's as if flat earthers have never thought logically. It's as if flat earthers have never seen a sunrise or a sunset, which couldn't be any more clear evidence that we live on a spherical earth. The sun does not change its size or shape as it rises or sets behind the horizon. It disappears behind the horizon because that is that's the curvature of the earth. Very clear. Just as clear as an example like this is to understand what the solstice is. We don't have a smaller tropic and a larger tropic. We have equal tropics that are equal distant from the equator. So I hope I explained that all clearly enough. My goal in this work is to make more and more sense of it each day and to greater understand where these numbers come from that we see so often. The single most important thing in this world to our existence, and of course there's multiple things that are important, but the single most important is the sun. Without the sun, nothing else is possible. Why make a religion worshiping the Son of God? Because it's the most important thing in this world. God's one and only Son. Remember, a lot of other interesting things. Let's just close up with some other important gematria in case you're new here. God's sun in ordinal gematria sums to 93. They tell us the sun is 93 million miles away. And you know what? That seems so incredibly far. I've said a number of times I wouldn't be surprised at all if they lied to us and the sun's not really 93 million miles away. But at the same time, I don't know that for sure. The sun could truly be 93 million miles away and as massive as they say it is, and that's why we feel its heat, its energy. It's possible. Again, that would also explain why they coded 93 into God's sun. If they figured out that the true mathematics of the world was that the sun was approximately 93 million miles away, it would make sense. We know that crucifix equals 93. We know that to the occult, Saturn is the keeper of time. Very significant. Think about how the sun, 93 million miles away, the true keeper of time. The sun, the small way, without the S exceptions, also 24, like 24 hours in a day. S exception, 33. But a lot of these numbers, just so relevant, so coded. Look at Christian in reverse reduction. 61, just like church. Christians go to church on Sunday. 61, to worship Jesus. 61, who died on the cross. 61, a prime number, divisible by only one in itself. In Jewish gematria, 61's the God number, which goes along with Jesus and cross and church and Christian. So that's all for today. Thank you as always for listening. If anybody else has any other keen insights, I would be glad to hear them. For all you flat earthers, come around to the truth. The truth is more important than deluding yourself. The arguments you guys are making, such as the flat earth proves God and Jesus, that stuff just doesn't make any sense. Why couldn't God and Jesus exist on a spherical earth orbiting the sun? And just understand, with my work, I'm not trying to kill your belief in Jesus or hurt your spiritual feelings. I think spirituality is important, and I think everyone should have spirituality. It's just, let's not be duped into what we've been told to believe from the beginning. Let's not forget about that word believe. It has the gematria of 33 as well, with the line right in the middle. Believe. All right, truth seeker. Until next time.